At the dawn of the 20th century, a discovery changed the Namib Desert forever. In 1908, a railway worker named Zacharias Lawala was clearing sand from the tracks near Luderitz when he spotted a sparkling stone in the dust. That stone was a diamond. Word spread quickly, and almost overnight, a diamond rush consumed the desert. Kolmanskop was born. What began as a barren stretch of dunes became a thriving town in the middle of nowhere. German settlers and prospectors arrived in waves, lured by the promise of untold riches. The desert was unforgiving, but the diamonds lying just beneath the sand made the hardships worthwhile. Within a few years, Kolmanskop wasn't just a settlement, it was a symbol of sudden wealth. Kolmanskop grew at a staggering pace. By the 1920s, it was one of the richest communities in Africa, boasting amenities that seemed impossible for such a remote location. Mansions lined the streets, each built in German colonial style. There was a hospital, a ballroom, a school, a casino, and even a theater, where European performers entertained the settlers. The town had electricity long before many other places in Africa. It even had an ice factory that shipped blocks of frozen water across the desert to keep food cool. At its height, Kolmanskop's residents lived in comfort and extravagance, their lifestyles funded by the glittering stones pulled from the sand. Diamonds were so abundant that it was said prospectors could kneel down at night and spot them glinting beneath the moonlight. But beneath the wealth, the desert was always waiting. The winds never stopped, the sand never rested, and the town's prosperity was built on a resource that would not last forever. By the 1930s, the diamond fields around Kolmanskop began to run dry. The easy finds were gone, and richer deposits were being discovered farther south near Oranienburg. Prospectors packed their bags and moved on, chasing the next fortune. The once booming town started to empty. Businesses closed their doors. The theater went silent, the casino shuttered, the hospital abandoned its halls. Families who had built lavish homes simply left them behind, too costly or too difficult to move. By 1954, Kolmanskop was officially deserted. The desert had reclaimed what had once been a beacon of wealth. The wind carried sand through every open doorway, piling it high in empty kitchens, living rooms, and bedrooms. Slowly, the houses filled like hourglasses. Floors vanished beneath shifting dunes, and staircases led to seas of sand instead of upstairs rooms. Today, Kolmanskop is one of the most famous ghost towns in the world. It stands as a haunting reminder of how quickly fortune can fade. Entire homes sit half buried, their walls cracking under the weight of drifting dunes. Windows frame nothing but endless desert. In some rooms, sand has poured in so deeply that the ceilings nearly touch the ground. Walking through the town feels like stepping into a surreal dream. The echoes of the past are everywhere. The faded wallpaper, the remnants of furniture, the outlines of once grand staircases. Yet everything is silent, smothered by the desert. The laughter of parties, the glitter of diamonds, the sounds of a once lively town are gone, leaving only the whisper of the wind and the shifting of sand. Kolmanskop remains frozen in time, both a tourist destination and a warning. Travelers from around the world now walk its sand-filled hallways, marveling at the eerie beauty of a place nature has reclaimed. Photographers flock to capture the striking images of sunlight streaming through broken windows onto dunes that fill entire rooms. But Kolmanskop is more than a picturesque ruin. It tells the story of impermanence, a reminder that wealth built on the extraction of resources is temporary, and that the desert, patient and relentless, always wins in the end. The diamonds that built Kolmanskop are still out there, deeper in the earth, fueling industries and economies far away. But the town itself remains, swallowed by sand, a ghostly monument to a time when riches seemed infinite, and to the reality that nothing lasts forever. Behind Kolmanskop's glittering reputation lay a reality less often told. The town's wealth was built not only by German settlers, but by hundreds of African laborers brought in to dig the diamonds from the sand. These men worked long hours under a scorching sun, confined to barracks at night. Their lives were a world apart from the luxury enjoyed by the European residents. Stories spread that workers were sometimes forced to crawl through sand on their hands and knees, searching for diamonds by lamplight. The inequality was stark. For some, Kolmanskop was a paradise in the desert. For others, it was a place of exhaustion, hardship, and little reward. Today, when visitors marvel at the ornate mansions sinking into the dunes, they are reminded that not everyone who lived there shared in the same prosperity. As the town boomed, stories of extravagance circulated far beyond Namibia. It was said that champagne was more common in Kolmanskop than clean drinking water. Ice, produced in the desert by the town's factory, became a symbol of its wealth. Even in the harshest conditions, Kolmanskop's elite enjoyed a lifestyle that felt closer to Europe than Africa. Diamond fever sometimes bordered on the absurd. Prospectors claimed they could simply pick gems off the ground, gathering them in handfuls under the moonlight. The desert sand sparkled with riches, and fortunes were made in hours. But with abundance came greed, secrecy, and whispers of smuggling. The wealth that built Kolmanskop seemed endless, until it wasn't. The desert never stopped pressing forward. Long before the last family left Kolmanskop, sand was already claiming the town. Residents waged constant battles against it, sweeping porches, shoveling doorways, and clearing roads. But the wind was relentless. Every gust carried grains that slipped through cracks and settled in corners. Over time, the desert won. Without people to push it back, the dunes flowed into houses like an unstoppable tide. In some rooms, sand now rises waist-high, in others nearly to the ceiling. What was once a kitchen, a nursery, or a parlor became indistinguishable, reduced to empty shells filled with golden dust. The desert was patient, and in the end, it swallowed everything. Though abandoned, Kolmanskop has not been forgotten. Today it is preserved as a tourist site, managed by the mining company that still operates in the region. Guided tours lead visitors through the silent streets, offering glimpses of the town's strange beauty. Photographers from across the globe travel here to capture the surreal images. Staircases leading into dunes, doorways buried in shifting waves of sand, shafts of sunlight cutting through broken shutters. The town has become a paradox. Once built for wealth and exclusivity, it now thrives on abandonment. Its emptiness is its attraction, its decay a spectacle. Where once people came to seek diamonds, they now come to seek photographs, silence, and a haunting sense of the past. Kolmanskop is more than a relic. It is a warning etched in sand. It tells the story of how quickly fortunes fade, how even the grandest human endeavors are temporary when set against the power of nature. The diamonds brought life to the desert, but the desert reclaimed it with patience and inevitability. Visitors who walk its halls today often speak of the strange quiet, the sense that time stopped but the sand never did. The rooms, the walls, the faded colors, they all whisper the same truth. Nothing lasts forever. Wealth disappears, people move on, but the land remains. Kolmanskop stands as a ghostly monument, half buried yet unforgettable, reminding us that in the contest between human ambition and nature's persistence, the desert always wins.